What's up, guys? So I decided to start a podcast. I promised myself that for 2023, I'm going to switch up the content. And I was like, what the hell? I'll start a podcast. That's why I started the Momentous podcast. Episode 1. You're watching episode 1, the first episode. So I'm not going to cut anything out. I'm going to leave this raw, unedited, because that's how things need to be done. There's too much fakeness in Hollywood now. So we're going to bring out the real Josh because, yeah, for a lot of the videos that I shoot, I mean, is it really me? I mean, that's the problem with YouTube and just acting and just being on camera in general is that you lose your sense of self over a period of time. I've been in front of the camera since 2007. I started my first business in 2006, 2007. So I was selling gas scooters and I was making tutorials for YouTube, just for my little business, showing people how to take apart two-stroke engines, how to rebuild go-peds and gas scooters and go-karts and dirt bikes and stuff like that. So that's where I started to actually be on camera. And 2020, 2021, 2022, very interesting time that we're living in. And for those of you who are millennials, damn, I'm a millennial, and just to think about how much we've been through just in the last decade, 2 decades, 3 decades, the internet boom, we saw multiple recessions, right? Social unrest, a shortage of toilet paper, shortage of chocolate, shortage of basically everything. Cars, like, damn. Millennials, man. So we've been through a lot, and I thought that this would be a very interesting time to just start up a podcast, especially for those of you who love listening to podcasts, and for those of you who don't have enough time to actually look at a screen for 10 or 20 minutes. You could just pop this on to the Bluetooth of your car or your speakers at home and just listen, because I listen to a lot of podcasts too, and I think it's just very enjoyable. So hopefully my voice is soothing, calming, hypnotic. I am getting over a little bit of a cold, so if you hear some congestion, that's why. So the title of this podcast is "It's Time to Quit." And I only bring that up because, man, the views have been down. And I know why the views have been down. Because the popularity of my channel started when I started making a ton of tutorials on gimbals. I love gimbals, I love cameras and all this other cool fancy tech, but there's only so many tutorials that you can make. So I started venturing off, reviewing different lights and different types of tech, and then the views started going down, and at that point you start questioning, what the hell is going on? Is it really worth being a full-time YouTuber? I hate that word, YouTuber. Man, is it really worth it? Is it time to quit? No, it's not time to quit. It's only time to quit when you feel like, I see it as a challenge, when I see the views drop, the retention drops, the ad revenue drops, and all that other stuff. I see it as a challenge to kind of revamp the content. I don't want to do gimbal tutorials for the rest of my life. I want opportunity to grow. And it's tough on YouTube. When you're your own boss and you're producing content for your own company, how do you grow? I can't promote myself. I can't. I'm in one position, and I always will be in one position if I decide to continue doing what I'm doing. You know, when you're working a 9 to 5, when you're working for a company, you have room to grow usually. You get promoted, you get a salary bump, you have stability for the most part. Even though I honestly don't think a 9 to 5 job offers you stability, but that's just me, because people get fired every day. People get laid off every day. I mean, look at Amazon, just laid off 1,500 employees in the last, couple days or so. There's no stability in anything. So I learned that getting used to walking on eggshells is a skill that anybody can get to. You can achieve this skill. I think that life is just a pile of eggshells. Regards to work, regards to relationships, regards to everything. It's just a pile of eggshells. And you just got to learn how to develop calluses on your feet so that way the eggshells won't, hurt you. Let's change it to nails instead of eggshells. Walking on nails. I think that life is a little bit more painful than just eggshells. So, walking on nails. Your job as a living human being is to, 1, be kind, obviously, but 2 is to learn how to live and how to go through the tough times and learn how to deal with shortages and money shortages and all that crap. So you have to develop calluses. You have to develop a tolerance. Similar to, alcohol and all that stuff, you got to learn how to develop a tolerance to life. And that's what I'm working on, and I'm learning how to develop these tolerances. So yes, I've been through hard times. I'm going through hard times, but I'm developing a very powerful tolerance to it. I'm not letting it faze me. Sometimes it's hard to sleep because I have that thought back in my head like, shit, do I have room to grow? Where the hell am I going to be in 10 years? And that is the worst question you can ask yourself, is where you're going to be in 10 years, what's going to happen tomorrow, what's going to happen the day after tomorrow. Because what I learned to realize, guys, is that cliches are true. Focus on the present. That's why they call it a gift. Or focus on, you know what I mean? That cheesy quote from Kung Fu Panda, what Shifu said, remember? He said something about, you know what I mean? Just rewatch that part. But it's true. Cliches are cliches because they're very repetitive, they're very cheesy, but they're 100% true. That's why everybody repeats them. So that's something I actually learned recently as an adult. As a kid, when you listen to cliches, you're like, that's BS, that's not true. And then when you start getting life experience, you listen to these cliches and you're like, whoa, dude, that resonates. That really, really resonates. So, yeah, just think about that for a second. Life is supposed to be hard. Learn how to walk on nails, and you're going to get through whatever it is. Guaranteed. I made a video, I think a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, called, it was something on the long lines of depression. I'm depressed as a content creator. If you haven't checked it out, check it out. I'll probably put it in the cards, so check it up in the corner there. And watch it, because I get pretty real with you. I talk about my depression that I entered into and slowly got out of. A lot of people resonated with it. People are going through it right now. And in that video, I talk about some tips and tricks on how to prevent that. You're never going to prevent depression. Depression's just a part of life. Depression, anger, sadness, all these emotions, it's all a part of life. If you don't experience it, then you're not a human being. You're supposed to go through depression. You're supposed to go through periods of anger, hatred. This is what separates us from animals, is the emotions. Even though animals do have emotions, they don't carry the same emotions that human beings are capable of. A dog's never going to resent you. A dog's always going to be loyal to you. So, I love dogs. Oh, dogs are incredible. Simply because of that aspect, because dogs are like, man, they don't need a reason to love you. That's why dogs are incredible. But human beings need a reason. Human beings can't justify love out of thin air. We have to love people for a purpose. When you're dating somebody, you don't fall in love with them for no reason. There's a reason why you fall in love with them. Dogs, will love you at first sight, and they'll be by your side nonstop. So, yeah, that's my little rant about dogs. I think they're just incredible. But the point is that, life is rough, man. I'm 30 years old now. I'm still young. I consider 30 not as old as 40 or 50. And luckily, I've been around a lot of older mentors, people double my age, some even triple my age. And I always just like to sit down and talk to them, because you just pick up so much information. My first business mentor, man. I don't know if you guys know this, but my first mentor was when I was 21, 9 years ago. I met a dating and life coach. His name was David. Multi-millionaire, 7-figure business. He was one of the first dating coaches ever. That's why he became so big, because he was extremely unique. Dating was not an industry. Dating was just I'm going to go date this girl. But it became a money-making industry, a huge money-making industry. He made it that. And he would share with me all the struggles and all the BS that he had to go through, his divorce and like dealing with a kid and dealing with financial struggles, dealing with, his mom passing away, like all of this stuff. And as a kid, I was naive, and he taught me to just shut up and listen. And I think that's very important. And he was one of the first people, he is the first person that taught me, how to be independent. As much as I want to say that my parents taught me that, they didn't really focus on they let me make my own choices, but David taught me how to become financially independent, how to stand up for myself and start my own business and do this and do that. And unfortunately, we don't talk anymore, but what I've learned was just an incredible amount. And what I wanted to do with this podcast series is just, I'm not going to be the only one in this podcast. I'm going to have people lined up to speak. But I just wanted to show you how real I can get. This is just the first episode. We're going to be talking, I'm going to get as detailed as I possibly can without obviously getting into any legal trouble. So we're going to be talking about brands, my horrible experiences with some companies. Oh yes, we're going to go down that rabbit hole. Because these things that I'm going to share with you guys, especially for those of you who want to be YouTubers and want to do content creation full time, I think that if you listen to, my experiences, you'll, one, avoid those mistakes that I've made, and two, if you come across similar bridges, you'll know exactly how to deal with it. because I could have dealt with it a lot better. I could have dealt with it a lot better. I have a lot of stories, man. A lot of stories. And I don't want to sound like a douche or anything like that. It does honestly sound a little douchey that I'm making a podcast about momentum and all of that, but I'm not doing it to sound like a douche. I'm doing it more like to switch up the content and to see how authentic I can actually get in front of the camera. I've auditioned as a kid for a bunch of like short films and stuff like that, and to be in like professional acting classes. And a lot of the coaches pulled me aside and said, Josh, you're not authentic enough. And I think a lot of that had to do with because of what I became in front of the camera. And it kind of, messed me up a little bit. So it's hard to be authentic. Sometimes I feel like I can be very fake with my friends and family. And it's, I did therapy for a year and I uncovered a lot of stuff with that too. Like authenticity, if you're in the entertainment industry, authenticity is very difficult. It's very difficult. So I'm not only doing this to share knowledge with you guys, but I'm also doing this to help me out because I feel like I ain't real enough in front of the camera. So the Momentous podcast, guys, this is it. We're starting a new journey, but I'm not going to stop the gear reviews and the tutorials. I still really I still really enjoy creating that content. But I feel like there's more to share on this platform. Because if a new camera comes out, 1,000 YouTubers are going to make content on it. Okay? It's like, it gets so repetitive. It's like, what the hell? It's enough. DJI released the RS3 Mini, or whatever the hell it's called. And like 1,000 videos pop up. RS3 Mini, it's incredible. Yeah. So even though it's fun to do videos like that, it's just extremely monotonous. It's very repetitive. A ton of YouTubers are already doing it. But what they can't copy or repeat is personality and authenticity of another human being. And that's why I think podcasts are extremely unique, because no one can copy a podcast. No one can recreate a podcast. No one can copy someone else's authenticity or personality. And that's why I think it's important to do this. Yeah. So this is the first episode, man. It's pretty wild. All right, guys, strap on your seatbelts. We're going to be doing this hopefully minimum twice a week. So let me know what you think in the comment section, and I'll talk to you later. Peace.